In the quiet corners of your local library or the dimly lit space of a child's bedroom, something curious is happening. A young student sits hunched over a desk, pencil in hand, scribbling answers onto a worksheet. It's a scene repeated thousands of times over every evening in homes across the world. Homework, a nightly ritual as familiar as brushing teeth or setting out tomorrow's clothes. But here's an uncomfortable truth: decades of research have failed to prove that homework makes kids smarter. Yet, we continue to assign it as if it's a magic bullet for educational success. How did we arrive at a place where millions of children devote hours to an activity that may not be effective? Let's dive into the absurdity. Homework occupies a sacred place in education. It's as if school isn't enough, and learning must spill into every crevice of a child's life. But does assigning pages of math problems and endless vocabulary lists actually improve learning outcomes? Studies say no, not really. Research from Duke University reviewed over 60 studies on homework's effectiveness. They found no correlation between homework and academic achievement in elementary school. For high school students, the connection is barely noticeable. Yet, every day, students haul backpacks filled with books and assignments home. Why? Because it's simply what we've always done. The origins of homework are rooted in the rise of compulsory education in the 19th century. Horace Mann, an education reformer, introduced the idea, believing that practice would make perfect. But here's the twist: homework was initially designed as a punishment. In 1901, California even passed a law banning homework for students under 15. The belief was that children should be free to explore and learn through play after school. Fast forward a century, and homework is ingrained in educational systems worldwide. Parents and teachers alike see it as a hallmark of rigorous education. But maybe it's time to question this inherited wisdom. Some argue that homework teaches responsibility and time management. It's an appealing defense. But what if it's a misplaced expectation? A report from the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, suggests that excessive homework can exacerbate social inequalities. Affluent families can afford tutors and quiet spaces to study. Other families may not have these luxuries. Homework may actually widen the gap rather than close it. In Finland, a country renowned for its education system, students receive little to no homework. Yet, Finnish students consistently outperform their peers in international assessments. The supposed necessity of homework begins to crumble under scrutiny. Why does this absurd tradition persist? Partly because it benefits the system more than the students. Schools and teachers face immense pressure to perform well in standardized tests. Homework becomes the tool to meet these expectations. It's easier to quantify success with completed assignments. But the story doesn't end here. There's a commercial side too. The homework industry is lucrative. Companies churn out workbooks and online platforms promising to boost grades. Schools, parents, and students become entangled in a cycle driven by profit rather than pedagogy. Let's look at the human impact. Consider a real story. Emily, a bright 10-year-old, loves reading and drawing. But every night, she battles fatigue and frustration as she tackles her mountain of homework. Her parents watch helplessly as Emily's love for learning dwindles. They see the stress in her eyes when she can't solve a math problem or remember historical dates. Emily isn't an isolated case. Across the globe, children are losing interest in school. Homework, intended to reinforce learning, becomes a burden. It eats into family time, playtime, and rest. The emotional cost is high, and the educational gain is uncertain. So, what's the verdict? It's time to rethink homework. It's time to consider alternatives that foster genuine learning. Project-based work, exploratory learning, and critical thinking exercises could replace rote tasks. Schools should collaborate with families to find balanced approaches. Policies must change to reflect the realities of modern childhood. Teachers should be empowered to use class time effectively. Our call to action is simple: question the status quo. Challenge the assumption that homework is synonymous with learning. The senseless part is not homework's existence. It is our blind adherence to an unproven tradition.